regret it in 2022 and Tip Top Snack Bar.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another Swis and Jon
watches.
Show. What are you talking about?
Swiss and watches. It's a running
Swiss and
joke.
watches. Oh, okay. So I am Swis and I'm here with my friend Jonathan. How are you doing, Jonathan?
Hey, hello Swiss. I'm doing very good. I hope that you're doing well.
I'm doing okay.
Are you looking forward to our celebrity guest?
Yes, of course. So today we have something special planned. Jonathan finally managed to get an appointment with Benjamin Chee. He might be joining us in about 10 to 15 minutes.
Yes, I hope so, yes.
Right.
So if Benjamin is listening to it, hello, take your time, have a snack, and hope to see you very soon.
Absolutely. In the meantime, I would like to say hello to our beautiful viewers. Watches 63, thank you so much. Speedy Hernandez, good to see you. Rainbow Sunshine, and of course, Danger Will Robinson. Always,
the one and only,
always.
yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes, right. So tell me, Jonathan, in the meantime, do we have something to talk about?
I hope so, and I hope that it interests some of the audience. I've heard that on another stream, someone was considering, or someone was buying a Lange Perpetual in platinum from Tourneau for quite a low price, I must say. And owning this particular watch and having been through an incredible journey during the buying process, I thought that I'm giving some thoughts about how to buy a pre-owned Lange, because it may sound easy, but it can be really tricky. So as said, I own a similar watch like that. I think it has an Italian dial. My dial is English. And my first attempt was 2.5 years ago. I found a watch for a good price at a Spanish dealer in Barcelona. I was talking a lot with him. He sounded being sincere. He told me that the watch was just serviced by the Barcelona Breitling service center. So I thought, Breitling has some qualified watchmakers for sure. So it was in good hands. So I traveled down to Barcelona, checked the watch, couldn't see much being wrong. But the plan was to give this particular watch to Lange because I wanted a different dial. I wanted a black dial. And Lange told me if the watch is really serviced according to our standards, a dial change shouldn't be a problem in theory. I must say that the dial was Spanish. So the question was still, am I getting a silver dial with English or German writing, or am I getting the black dial, which was finally then rejected? So I bought the watch,
So
paid the money.
they rejected your dial change.
Yeah, they rejected the dial change to black. They would have
Okay.
accepted the dial change to silver just like it is, with a different language on it.
Okay.
So I spent the night in Barcelona. Couldn't sleep. Was watching over the watch 1,000 times. Was totally happy and excited because it was by far the largest watch purchase that I made. But then I discovered that there was a screw loose on the rotor.
Oof.
Maybe you can pull up the picture of the movement.
Okay,
No?
give me 1 second.
Yeah.
It's the last one, huh, that you sent
Yes, I
me.
think so. Yeah.
Let me just pull this up. Copy link. Tac. We didn't rehearse anything.
Yes, exactly.
This is the movement, right?
Exactly, yes. And you can see the rotor or the platinum mass is
One of
fixed.
those. Yes.
Yes. One of those 5 screws was loose and was blocking the rotor. So I called the seller. My plane was leaving, I think, at 8 o'clock in the morning. So I called him very early. I told him, look, there is a problem. I have to return you the watch. Thank you very much, Speedy. And we met at the airport. He took the watch. Yes, so he promised me that this will be fixed. And then the watch will be sent back to me to Germany. And I asked him to send the watch directly to Lange because the question of the dial change was still open. So the watch was sent directly to Lange, and a couple of days later, I received an estimate, not for the dial change, but for a movement and case repair.
Oh.
So what happened was, first of all, one of the lug was bent, and I couldn't see that. It was bent upside down because the watch was fallen at a point.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So one lug was bent, which I haven't seen, and they told me during service many parts of the movements have been scratched, many screws have been messed up, and so to put the watch into a condition where they would be willing to change the dial, it would be 7,000 euros to repair the movement.
God. 7,000.
Yes. So this is not Lange being greedy as Feig. This is just because the movement has been damaged.
Yes.
And keep in mind, contrary to the Swiss watch companies, those movement parts are not coated with nickel.
Yeah.
So
and it
that
is in,
that is pure metal. This is not coated.
It is in German silver, which
Yes.
is also, a special metal.
Yeah, and it's not treated. So it is not as hard as nickel. So it shows traces very easily. So that was a big nightmare. And of course, then I contacted the seller. I had a 14-day return policy. So I told him I don't want the watch anymore. The watch was sent back to the seller in Barcelona. He gladly accepted with a big drama. But at the end of the day, he accepted to return the watch. I got my money back. I had to travel again to Barcelona to pick up my money. And that was the first awakening. The second awakening is I bought 10 years ago. I bought a watch with the same movement, but not a perpetual calendar, a Saxomat 37 millimeter by Watchbox, Goffberg.
Okay.
And I was wearing it infrequently over the last 10 years. And I thought it's time to a service. So 10 years ago, when I bought it from Goffberg, it was serviced by their own watchmaker. So what could go wrong? So I sent the watch to Lange. That was at the beginning of this year. I hoped that I would be charged with a service charge of 1,100 euros plus 500 euros for a case polish. I received an estimate of 3,300 euros because the watch was serviced by an unqualified party. Movement parts have been scratched, screws have been scratched, and so it will be much more effort to put the watch back into a good condition than their normal service estimate.
Yeah.
So I contacted Watchbox Goffberg, same seller, still there, never replied on multiple emails. So in the end, I'm screwed and stuck with the extra bill. The watch is now back from Lange. It's like new. So what do we learn from that? And I had a couple of people asking me, or they wanted to buy secondhand Langes. And here is what I would do if I buy another secondhand Lange or even a Patek or an Uhrwerk or whatever. I would ask, when was the last service and where has it been done? If the last service has been done by Lange, everything's okay. So it's no problem because it is according to factory specs. If somebody else did a service, I would always give the watch to Lange for an estimate. And they will tell you if movement parts are scratched or if lugs are bent and so on. So my advice, if you want to buy a secondhand Lange, make sure you have a return policy. Tell the seller the watch goes to Lange or to Patek Philippe for an estimate. And if it turns out that the watch was damaged or anything, that you can return it. Another aspect where you can pre-choose are the lugs. And Swis has put up a picture of a beautiful Lange Perpetual Calendar, limited edition actually. And I would like to go a little bit deeper onto Lange lugs because they are a piece of art. You see, it's not only that triangular lug that you see, but it has an additional faceted element on the side. And that is a true sharp facet. And maybe you can pull the picture up from that prototype, from that brass prototype, because that shows how it's made.
Okay. Just give me 1 second. The brass part that you showed.
Yes.
Sent me earlier. Okay.
Because the legend says that Mr. Blümlein himself filed those lugs.
Oh, okay.
And you can see the pronounced faceting and that additional piece that sticks out underneath those facets. And you can find them more or less pronounced on every single Lange watch. And you can imagine if you have just a random guy who polishes this up or buffs them up because they're scratched, they will not look the same. So it will lose the facets. It will lose the sharpness. And I think
the lugs are welded in, right?
Yes, they are. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've sent you 2 examples on Chrono 24, where, in my opinion, those lugs have been polished too often by too many unqualified people.
For example, over here.
Yeah.
Actually, you can see how it has been
Yeah.
rounded so much.
Yeah, it's totally rounded on the bottom.
Yes.
There are also front shots where you can see that basically this additional triangle is not much left anymore.
Let me find.
Hey, KB Lake is here. JBC.
Oh, that's a good photo. Oh yeah, look over here how rounded it is.
Yeah.
There isn't any.
Not much from this facet is left.
Yeah. There's nothing left.
So those are watches that I would root out on my search. It's not worth, in my opinion, to send them back to Lange, because you will never get them back to factory specs, and those have been abused, and so you better watch out for something else.
How does a Lange Perpetual do on the second-hand market?
Oh, they're doing incredibly well. The platinum one, when I bought my watch, it was slightly over 40,000 euros. Now they usually go over 60.
Hmm.
And the one from Tourneau was like 50,000 US dollars. But keep in mind, the platinum watch is very heavy. And the standard option for those watches is a tang buckle.
Yep.
And the watch is getting then very top heavy. So in my opinion, the platinum watch must have a deployant buckle, which will then cost
the famous $10,000.
Exactly, yes. Before the price hike, it was like 7,500 euros. I think now it's closer to 10,000.
Yeah.
So one important factor, if you're buying particularly a platinum Lange, make sure you're getting the deployant buckle. Otherwise, you can calculate 10,000 extra for a platinum buckle. So even though one watch may be 50,000, but if it lacks the platinum buckle, it is basically 60.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's same with my JLC. I am really happy that I actually have the deployant clasp that goes with it, because I've seen many example. Well, there isn't that many of them, but you can find one or two that are on the net, and first of all, they are in poor condition and they are missing the deployant clasp, which is very, very expensive.
Yep.
I think.
Do you know how much it is from JLC?
From JLC, they cannot provide a new one.
Really?
And no, yeah, they won't. They just won't. And on the second hand, it's about $4,000 to $5,000.
Yeah,
because yeah, it's it's funny because actually the thing is they don't do the deployant clasp in platinum anymore. They do it in white gold. Even for their crazy pieces like the Gyro Tourbillon miniature beater in platinum. Yet the deployant clasp that comes with it is in white gold, and people they're like, well, I don't want white gold.
Wow.
I want platinum. So they buy a used platinum deployant buckle to replace it. So it has matching metals, and this is why now it is very sought after. Platinum deployant clasp from JLC, and yeah, for $4,000.
Yeah, but $4,000 is a bargain. That is the price of a white gold Lange buckle.
Yeah, we're talking JLC, not Lange.
Yeah. So we have Design Atelier in the house, and being a design purist, he's annoyed by the grand date. I agree with you when the date is below 10. Or above 10, it is much more balanced. But Design Atelier, you're quite a young cricket. If you and Swis, I'm not talking about you. So, but when you're becoming my age, you're happy to have such a big date, because to be honest, I was just setting my perpetual calendar up for my birthday last week, and I couldn't read the months until I took a watchmaker's loop, I must confess. So I'm happy that the date is so big, because what those hands are showing, I'm not able to read that without a loop. Even with my glasses, I can't really properly identify it.
Wow,
that is your future, Swis.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess it is my future at some point.
Look, when I was working in watch retail, I remember all the beautiful ladies, my colleagues, came to me and said, "Oh, Mr. Higgins, I have to fill out the warranty card, but I can't read the numbers." I said, "No big deal. I'm going to tell you." And without a loop, I could read all those little tiny numbers on the Cartier or Vacheron watches, no problem. Now I know exactly how they've been. How they've been and the difficulties that they had. I'm having the same now.
Exactly. Look, design atelier having some strong opinions. I think Glashütte did it better. No separation.
I think H. Moser did it very good with their perpetual calendar.
Oh yeah, H. Moser, the with the big date complication.
Yes.
With the 2 discs, one on top of the other, to make sure that.
Yeah. Are you able to pick that up? H. Moser perpetual calendar movement or something?
To show it, yeah.
Yes.
It's expensive though. It's 40K or something like that.
Well, the Lange is 60, and the retail of the gold is now over 100.
Can we show the mechanism? Oh, there it is.
Yes.
Let's open this. Oh wait, that's even better. Oh, a blog to watch, of course. Let's keep this one. Oh, and I think Benjamin Chee is almost there. So here you can see the mechanism of the big date of H. Moser. And you can see that it is basically one ring, and then there is another one underneath.
Yes.
And so when it reaches 15, it conveniently places this this aperture, and then it's the disc underneath who shows the date.
From 16 then to 31, yes.
And we have our guest who just
we
arrived.
have our guest here.
Benjamin Chee, welcome to the show.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much.
Hello, good morning to Singapore. I'm trying to get your microphone a little bit louder because you're difficult to hear.
Yeah, it's a bit quiet on my end as well, but I'm on maximum volume at the moment.
Okay.
Let's see if I can maybe do something about this.
Yeah, Swis is the mastermind.
Oh yeah, well, he is already
maxed out.
Full at max volume. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you guys are a bit soft as well on my laptop, even though my volume is on maximum.
Well, right now it's fine. It's fine right now.
Perfect.
So Ben, how are you doing?
Good. Well, firstly, I have to apologize to your viewers because I know I was supposed to appear 2 weeks ago, but I set my alarm for it because it's 3 a.m. over here when your show starts. So I set my alarm at 2:30, and I just completely slept right through it. So my apologies to all your viewers who if they waited to listen in to me.
No need to apologize. Swis and I know how it is to wake up at 3 o'clock to be on a watch show, and I'm pretty sure he and Ivy who slept over.
It's definitely worth it, and I really enjoyed our show the last time. I think it was about half a year ago.
Oh yes,
it was a good conversation.
Well, the pleasure was all ours because when you joined our show, that was the most successful show that we had. We had more than double of our usual audience, and the feedback from all the viewers has just been spectacular. So
I'm truly honored. It's always a great honor and privilege to be on your show or to be on any other show, and I really enjoy just chatting about watches and about life in general.
Yeah, but you don't need to blow a smoke upon our asses again. Because when you showed up, you just showed what kind of amateurs Swis and I are. So so it's all good. So yes, it has been almost half a year ago that you have been appearing on our show.
Yeah.
And prior to this show, I told my wife, Mrs. Higgins, that you will join us, and I had to promise her not to buy any watches in the aftermath of that show because I was going crazy after you've been on. So it has been quite an expensive evening for me back then.
Well, on the bright side, you pretty much bought all my watches, so I'm running out of watches for you to buy. You know. So I'm trying to think of
Oh
new
yeah,
ones.
let me show the. Was it this one? No, it was
The Starry Night.
yes.
Mhm.
Yes, let me bring it up. It is this one, the Starry Night. There we go.
Yeah. Oh, Mrs. Higgins is here as well. Oh my God. So at the moment she's friendly, Benjamin. I hope that that she keeps it that way.
Well, hey,
Depends
she
on.
wear it too, you know. So both of you can enjoy this watch.
Yes. I was trying to sell it to her that way. I'm not sure if I was really successful doing that.
Well, when you receive it, just show it to her, and I hope she'll be won over.
Yes, I'm pretty sure she will be. So what is the update of those Celadon watches? Because
So
as you can
right
imagine.
now, the dial is all completed. I received some photos of your Starry Night dial. I think a few days ago, and it's all done. So right now we're just waiting for the cases and then the movements to be finished. But hopefully they should be done by early January, perhaps, or February next year. Yeah. So that's still quite ahead of schedule. I think it was it June that you placed your order, or perhaps a bit earlier?
I think it was February.
Oh, February, really? Okay.
Yes.
So that is about a year.
Yeah. So yes, you were kind enough to send me pictures during the process. Oh my God, that is so amazing.
And every piece of gold is laid by hand. So
Yes.
Yeah, look at that. That is a.
I mean, that's not
It's
something
a painting. It's basically a painting.
Mm.
A painting in the making.
What Ben? What surprised me is this Chinese artisan is using a different technique than the guys who are doing my world timer, because apparently he separates the dial into quarters and then eighths, and then does the pattern freehand.
Cloisonné is always done freehand. So even in Switzerland, in our workshop, it's also done freehand. I think separating into eighths, it might be his particular technique. I know one point of difference from the Swiss technique would be they use thinner gold wire, so they're able to create a more intricate scene. And I think the composition of the enamel, well, dust, if you like, is a bit different as well. So Cloisonné enamel has about 600 years of indigenous history in China. When it first came, I think it came from Persia, if I recall the history. And then it was independently developed and refined, if you like, in China over the last 600 years. So over that time, it's diverged somewhat from the European technique, and I think that's something to be celebrated as well. To have a distinct tradition of doing things. So
I think you're very good in communicating that, because no other watchmaker shows those Cloisonné dials in this raw stage. And in my opinion, the normal consumer has no idea about the effort that is put into those watches. The patterns look nice, and then you go closer, and yes, there are golden borders made out of wire. But to get an idea how difficult this is to make, you need those kind of pictures.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And looking at lots of cloisonné dials from other makers, it just strikes me that most are actually quite simplistic. So for me, I've always tried to push for more complex scenes, whether it's with Anderson or with Xiong, with my Celadon pieces. And on both sides, they've always there's lots of pushback as usual. It's like, you can't do this, it's too much, and then I try to push them further, and it's the same story. But in the end, the result is really surprising for both them and us, So I think they appreciate the encouragement, if you like.
Yes.
Ultimately,
I think it is a two-blade sword. I can imagine that it can be annoying as hell, always being pushed. But in the end, then everybody's happy when the final result is
I
perfect.
think they're pleasantly surprised by what they can achieve from all my pushing. So in a way, it's a bit of a grudging acceptance, perhaps, that the pushing is actually quite fruitful in the end.
Oh yes, and because everybody is under a competition, aren't they?
Exactly.
So of course, it is in their best interest to push the limits a little bit further than their competitors.
Exactly. And you're showing your particular dial here. I think it turned out beautifully, actually. And I love the darker part of the sea.
Yes,
and the
this is
hotter
so
part of the white.
nice.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
nice.
really shows the layers of the cloisonné. It gives a bit of depth and texture to the dial. And
Yeah,
if you
and
look at Europe in particular, it's so detailed. The way it's shaped, because you can picture it's all gold wire shaped by hand, and to shape it with such detail. I mean, if you compare it with the 2523 vintage Patek, the comparison is quite clear. I mean,
Oh,
I won't
absolutely.
comment on which is better, but if you just put them side by side, I mean, you can see the difference. And you have to bear in mind that the actual dial is even smaller than this picture. It's about 1.8 centimeters in diameter, if I recall. So that's roughly the size of a dime, a US dime coin. And so that's just ridiculously puny. So to achieve that level of intricacy is just it's just spellbinding. I mean, I can't imagine how they can do it, but all that pushing and telling Alex to make them try to achieve what we want, I guess it pays off in the end.
Oh, absolutely, yes. Just a small comment. Danger Will Robinson just confirmed that I haven't purchased any additional watches after the Doxa. My comment is the evening is long, so let's see what happens.
Well,
So-
watches all sorts of price ranges, so you can buy inexpensive watch to tide you over.
But what I really found extraordinary about Sven Andersen, can you go back to the other dial, please, Swis, for a second?
This one.
Yes. So the first dial unfortunately cracked when it was printed, and I can imagine Alex from Sven Andersen being not happy because in the end he has to pay his artisans for the cracked dial, and I'm not sure if he recovers. Oh, you paid. Okay, thank you very much, sir.
My pleasure.
So
we want you to be happy, and a cracked dial is not acceptable. So, but it's all part of the cost of doing business, I guess. So
yeah.
fine.
So but then instead of going cheaper and saying, okay, we are already losing money on this particular dial, you added 2 lakes into the landmass of the Asian continent. And that I found really remarkable and such a nice touch. and I would really like to thank you for
My
adding
pleasure.
those.
I mean, it's I'm amazed as well that they can squeeze, Lake Baikal and Lake. I'm not sure what the one on the right is.
The Caspian.
Caspian.
Yeah.
Like the Caspian
Yes,
Sea.
Caspian.
It's amazing that they can squeeze that in. I mean, if you imagine how small it is, and they can shape it with such detail that it actually looks realistic as well. It's not just a blob there.
Absolutely.
So I mean, it was worth it in the end. Just to see
Actually,
how.
I'm a little bit disappointed because I reached out to Alex if he could make the Bodensee here in
Bodensee. Okay.
Bodensee is the biggest lake in Germany.
Okay.
But it's so
That might-
tiny that it's
it would
impossible.
be, it would be so
I mean,
small.
if you look at the European, continent there,
Yeah.
to have a there would be a bit more difficult, I think.
That was just an in joke, just to give Alex a laugh, and he replied in German, "Bodensee is just too small." So-
Yeah, I would imagine, yeah. Because it would be pointless as well if you just have a blob there. It would look
Absolutely,
out of proportion as well,
Absolutely,
Yeah.
Yeah, we
you
had
wouldn't want,
difficulties. We had difficulties with the proportions with Bora Bora. I think Bora Bora is not really in scale from the distance from Australia. It is very close, but we didn't want to shrink the continents even further, just to maintain the details.
Because I mean, to an extent, this is meant to be a romantic depiction, isn't it? It's not really meant to be exact geography or exact science. So it's really what you like, and if it conjures up beautiful memories in your mind of your holiday there, past and future, then that's really what matters, isn't it? And I think when it comes to distance, especially with a group of islands like Bora Bora, it's a lot more, permissible rather than having a huge sea in the middle of the European continent. That would look a bit strange. Yeah.
No, I'm absolutely fine, and this has been discussed with me, and I gave my okay, and it's absolutely perfect because it still gives you an idea how remote that island is compared to any other landmass, and
Exactly.
I'm so happy and so grateful that you guys found a way to include Bora Bora.
Oh, it's our pleasure. It's our pleasure. I mean, I thought there was quite a unique request that you had, to have the gold dot on Bora Bora, and on the other two places, Hong Kong and Berlin, was it? So
Hamburg.
I just Hamburg, yeah. I just love having all these special requests that we can we can achieve them for our clients. It just makes the watch that much more special.
Can I ask, and you don't have to reply to it if you don't want, did anybody else mark his favorite places so far on those kind of dials? Or
As
am I
far
the
as
first
I
and
recall,
crazy one?
no. We had another client who asked for his country to be depicted in red, with gold borders, especially for his country. But to have a gold dot on a particular city, no, I think you're the only one. As with many of your requests, you're the only one. But I see that as a good thing, I mean, of course, it's extra work, but yeah, it's fun, So
Look, Ben, I'll be honest. It is a fine line between being the annoying guy who always wants something special and being the creative guy who's pushing things forward. And I'm not sure if in which category I fall in.
It's like a fine line between insanity and genius. But it's
yes, very fine.
Yeah. We always are on a knife's edge, aren't we? Always skirting that little wall there.
Yeah. No, but I'm really happy that we have a final version of the dial. I'm waiting for Swis to pass by with Sven Anderson when he has time, because let's be honest, Alex does crap pictures. And I hope to receive a decent picture from.
It can be improved for sure. Yeah.
Yes. So, but as long as his styles are marvelous, I forgive him, and yeah. Yeah, you know, the first statements come here, definitely the annoying side. So, you know, my viewers are very, very loyal here.
Yeah.
Well,
yes, I don't find them annoying, so that's fine to me. The artisans might find them annoying, but who cares, right? Yeah.
look, as long as you don't hang up when I call you, I think we're okay.
So far, so good. Yeah.
Okay. So far, so good. Yes, the Celadon Starry Night. I'm also getting a unique watch. Do you want to tell us about it? Because I'm ashamed to point that out.
So you requested a rhodium-plated movement. So far, you are the only one.
Yes.
I think that was your only special request.
Well, I had another request.
He had another one that was denied.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I mean, it actually was possible, but it would be much more expensive. Like, because we're actually doing a special, upgraded version of this movement. It's called the CH5, and we're launching it in the next few months. So that's going to be a fair bit more expensive than this one. It's going to be much more elaborately finished. So it's going to be based on the same movement as this first version.
Yeah, so but when I ordered the watch, you gave the option to have it rhodium plated or gold plated. So
rhodium plated is totally fine. I mean, I think your other request was to have the inward angle.
Yes.
So I took that to Master Lin, and we brainstormed a couple of ideas, and then we came up with this much more elaborately decorated movement. But then that would cost significantly more than this version. So
sometimes I'm pushing my luck, but sometimes it's getting possible. So shout out to Design Atelier again. Design Atelier is joining us, and not sure if you remember, Ben, when I saw first the Celestial Voyager. I wanted the continents in dark, but that was already sold. And then we did a kind of brainstorming on Perth Luxury's channel. By the way, hello, Perth Luxury. Which color combinations we could make. And we came up with the mock-up where my updated watch is based on. So he gave the proportions and he did the fine work then adjusting it. So just that I've been able to make a decision based on his mock-ups. So shout out to Design Ateliers. I owe you a lot, and you are a very important part in this watch development. Swis, can you show us the mock-up? You had it
well. So kudos to Design Atelier.
Yeah.
I would have to go pretty far in the past. I can find it.
You had it at the beginning of the show.
Oh, really?
Yes. That is why I'm asking.
Wait. So, give me 1 second.
So Ben, did I send you all the color suggestions that the Design Atelier made?
Did you mean the ones from way back?
Yeah.
Yep.
He had some crazy color combinations.
Yeah. Quite interesting. I mean, it's worth experimenting.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure I have it.
Okay,
I can find it with the Discord if you give me.
Yeah. Okay.
A few minutes.
Basically, we were like light blue versions. I think a dark blue. I think there was a yellow one as well.
Yes, kind of gold. It was. Yes, that was really fancy and crazy.
Interesting.
Yeah, but the idea of those bright blue continents was born there, and we tried to match it up then with the color of the aventurine city ring, and everything worked out fine. We still haven't decided about the color of the strap, which is a running joke, because viewers here tend to see that as the main topic in developing a watch.
Site where the whole watch is finished. I think that's actually the best way, because I like to see the finished watch and then slowly mull over strap options. It's all part of the fun of it. It's like ordering a new suit or ordering a new car, where it's all custom made. It's all part of the pleasure.
Oh yes.
Absolutely. And
slowly mull over the options.
Oh, I think I have it.
Glass of wine or cognac. It's all light little enjoyments, I guess.
But I was talking to Alex, I think 10 or 14 days ago, and I told him, yes, that was the proposal of designer Chee. I think that is version 2, because it has already. Does it have Darwin? No, it doesn't have Darwin. No, that was the first variant. Yes, so that was the idea that we took about the color combinations.
It's not bad, actually. I mean, the dial is a bit brighter, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the sea is a little bit darker in places, but that was the first brainstorming after I was on Perth Luxury and said that I ordered the watch and that we are in discussions, and you told me basically I can do whatever I want, and I took your word, unfortunately, and that is where the trouble started. No, but I lost my track. Yes, I was talking to Alex, and I remember the days over 30 years ago when I was at Basel, the independents, Sven Andersen, and maybe another guy. They just had a table. They only had a table in Basel, and there were no watches, no showcases, nothing. It was just a sign, and Sven Andersen sitting behind the chair. And back then, I was just looking at them and went on to see Rolex, Patek, or Breguet. And now the independents are becoming so strong because people realize that creating something unique, custom-made, is a value in itself. And I'm very happy that more and more people discover that. I was just joking with another Patek collector, and we were joking about a world timer, and I told him, ask Patek if they do some dots at your favorite cities, and just wait for their reply.
Well, they might if you're the right collector, but I wouldn't hold my breath.
Well, I think you have to be a rapper or something like that. I think the normal customer,
sort of head of state or monarch,
Yeah. Actually, there is an update because my very good friend Ross from the UK, he just placed an order, Swiss.
Okay.
He placed an order with Lange.
Oh.
The Richard Lange minute repeater.
Oh, wow. Very nice.
Now that is interesting. Let me bring it up. Okay.
So he's I think he's getting the only one in the UK, and it is only one of 50, and it is a very hard allocation process to get one of those. Keep in mind those are 400,000.
This was newly launched this year, wasn't it?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful piece. So classic, and to the untrained eye, you just think it was a standard time only Saxonia.
Yeah. So he's one of the lucky few who is getting one. And then to round things up, he also placed an order with Patek Philippe.
Mm. Do you
And
know
he's
for which
getting
one?
he's getting the perpetual calendar
Oh,
tourbillon minute repeater from them.
Oh my god.
no biggie, no big deal at all.
No big deal at all. Yeah, it's just a little
Oh.
additional order. So yeah,
Couple
he
quid.
was buying big the last week. I know that he was invited by Patek in Geneva to have a look at one because they don't have it on stock. And he was, keep in mind, we're talking about, I think, 650,000 pounds. And he doesn't like the Geneva line between underneath Patek Philippe. And he asked if they would be willing to amend the dial slightly. And the committee that is dealing with those high complications simply told him, take it or leave it. So that
I'm not surprised actually, because I mean it relates to their brand, so it's quite a core identity thing. So I'm not really surprised that they said no.
yes, but on the other hand, I'm calling Alex and he's telling me he's adding Lake Baikal to my cloisonné dial, and I tell him maybe you can add the Lake Baikal. Did I say Lake Baikal? So he added the Caspian Sea, and I asked him maybe you can add Lake Baikal, and he said yeah, okay, we're going to do that. And Patek Philippe is not willing to change the printing of the dial.
Yeah, that's the beauty of dealing with independents, you know.
Yeah,
You have a very personalized, customized process. I mean, which you don't get with the big marks.
Yeah, Swiss. It is the perpetual calendar with a blue dial. I think it's 5207, if I remember correctly. 1 second, just let me check.
Find out. Yeah.
Oh,
Yes,
Big,
that one.
big piece.
Yes. And I think Russ is still in conversations with you as well, Ben, if I remember correctly. But
commission, I think it was Amalfi Coast or Lake Como. Celestial Voyager, bespoke one. So I gave him lots of ideas, even for London, for a London dial. But he's still mulling over it. It's part of the pleasure of commissioning a watch, isn't it? Something that's such a rare experience nowadays.
I'm pretty sure you enjoy the conversations with him because he's much easier than me. He's not coming up with all those crazy ideas, isn't he?
Well, I mean, I enjoy both sorts of.
You're very diplomatic, Ben.
I try. Both are fun, to be honest. Obviously, I can't have every client like you. Either me or Alex would probably go a bit mad, but it's nice to have a couple that really show us how far we can push our limits.
Yeah. So Ben, you have been participating with the GPHG recently. I think I've seen 3 or 4 watches from you in total.
3 pieces this year I entered. So one was nominated.
Really?
The mechanical clock category.
Oh yes, that's true. Let me bring it up.
The first year,
there it is.
JPL is having the mechanical clock category. So it's the inaugural year. So that's my Celestial Infinity, made in collaboration with AHCI clockmaker Alessandro Rigotto, who's based in Milan.
So how did you know? How did you get to know Alexander? His name is Massimo, isn't it?
No. I actually found his contact on the AHCI website. I just sent him an email, and I guess we hit it off. And I realized we shared similar design and sort of the same aims in wanting to create something very high quality, very impressive. And also, he shared my same vision with creating this astronomical complication. So I think, as far as I know, this is the first true astronomical clock created in quite a long time. And if you look at the dial, every single star is actually a diamond. So again, the entire star map, the star dial, can be completely bespoke. So this one is created to be the night sky of Milan, because Alessandro is from Milan. So I thought it would be more authentic if it were the sky of Milan, and that's depicted by 461 diamonds. If I recall, the total caratage is about 8 or 10 carats all in. But I mean, the amount of labor to insert 461 diamonds individually by hand is just astounding. I mean, I can't even imagine, to be honest. And this clock is quite a large piece. I mean, when you picture a clock, you think of a little alarm clock or table clock. This is a whole different galaxy from that. Each dial is about 30 plus centimeters. So the entire clock weighs 26 kilos.
Wow.
It's meant to be a statement piece. So I told Alessandro, I want to design something that's sculptural, something that's like a sculpture. It will be the centerpiece of a large hall, something like a monument, basically, like a objet d'art, not a little teeny weeny clock.
So it's not a desk clock. It is more.
Well, it depends on your desk. I mean,
yeah, you're right. Then I'm sorry for being narrow-minded.
We actually designed a stand for it, which I haven't released yet, but the stand is equally impressive as well. So that's an optional little extra. But it's going to be on display at the Ralph Museum, the Musée Art d'Histoire, if I recall, in Geneva from November 1 to 20. So I'm going to be in Geneva as well around that period to attend the JPAG award ceremony on November the 10th. So if anybody is going to be in Geneva or Switzerland and they'd like to meet, please send me a message.
Awesome.
Yeah, I know somebody who is living in Geneva and would probably love to meet you in person.
Would be a pleasure. Is it Swiss by any chance?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Wait,
he's so sad that he didn't become the Sven Andersen ambassador. So he's trying hard to be to become the BCHH ambassador now.
I just need to steal your watch, Jonathan.
Yes.
We're always recruiting.
So, as far as I understand that that disk with the stars, it rotates a little bit less than once in 24 hours. Is that correct?
I do think so. It like the Patek Celestial, it basically operates in a similar fashion, but of course on a much larger scale. And it's got an 8-day power reserve, so that's quite impressive. And I think it rotates over, I can't remember the period. It rotates over 30 days, if I recall, the star map. Oh, it's 10-day power reserve, not 8-day. I get a bit confused because I'm working on lots of projects at the moment at the same time.
Okay.
All the specifications just kind of blend together in my head.
So what I like about this watch in particular is two things. First of all, the pendulum itself. Usually it is centered in the middle of a movement. And you place the pendulum on the side just to not to obstruct the view of the movement.
Exactly. Yeah.
Is that a totally new idea, or is that an idea or something just how
So
he does those watches?
the movement is derived from Alessandro's existing clocks, which are all time only, and he used his base movement. He improved the finishing and the construction a little, and then he added that astronomical complication as well. And it's got a Graham type escape mount, so it's quite a interesting escape mount design.
Yeah,
And the pendulum on the side, I do believe, is Alessandro's sort of style.
it's his shtick. Okay.
Yeah, because well, he prides himself on high finish. So the finish is pretty much similar to a high horology wristwatch movement. So when you think clock, traditionally they tend to be quite Spartan, quite agricultural perhaps in finish. But this one is done to a very high standard, certainly worthy of the AHCI badge, and certainly
Oh, yeah.
qualifying horology. So there's a high possibility that we would win. Fingers crossed.
Yes, fingers crossed to you. What I also like is that you can see the movement also from the rear side, and it helps that the pendulum is a little bit off center, so you have a pretty clear view to the movement. And I read from the description that the drive for the minute hand is separated from the drive of the hour hand.
Yeah. So both can be set independently.
Mhm.
So that was all part of the design brief to Alessandro. It had to be pretty unique and, well, push the boundaries in general. I always have this philosophy of first, best only. So I always tell him and Alex and my other partner watchmakers that we have to be first in the world for something, and or best in the world, or the only one in the world for a particular thing. So it's something that I always strive for: first, best, or only. And people ask how I deal with competition. The only way to deal with competition is just to be the best, or to be unique, or both, preferably. Because you're not going to stop people from coming in and trying to copy you or compete with you. It's just impossible to stop it. And to be honest, it's not something that you want to stop anyway, because if there's going to be a thriving market, you're going to have lots of players. So just be the best one, I mean, it's not easy, definitely, but it's always a
Yeah, it's not
challenge.
easy, but I think that sets you apart from many other companies that are part of the big conglomerates, where the financing is dictating the product design. So they try to cut corners where they can. So the goal is to produce as efficient as possible and not to be the best.
For sure, yeah. So that's very much very commercially focused, if you like. I mean, for me, obviously, I have to run it like a business, but I have the freedom to, to let my imagination run wild, I guess, to let the enthusiast part of me kind of dictate things sometimes.
Yes.
So,
Often.
I can sort of indulge in unnecessary expenses as well.
So Watches 63 is asking how difficult this clock is to set.
It's actually like a normal clock. You just wind it.
Are the hands exposed? So are those above those glass discs, or are they behind?
So the hands are exposed. They are in front of that glass, and so you use your fingers basically to set it. But when a client receives this clock, we either try to sort of have a white glove delivery service where Alessandro himself will go and install the clock, or install the clock, I guess would be the right term, and then set it and everything. So it's quite a complicated process. If that's not possible, then we'll give detailed instructions.
Mhm.
Well, thank you very much.
That sounds like a wonderful idea. But Thomas Burnett, and he's one of the big watch aficionados in this little YouTube world of watch crazy people. And when this compliment comes from him, it's really from the bottom of his heart, and he knows what he's talking about.
Appreciated, Thomas.
So, so you're running at the moment at the GPHG, the watch. You only made one display watch only, or do you have already some interest or even some order?
Did you mean the clock?
Yes, the clock. Mm-hmm.
So right now, only one showpiece exists. We do have a couple of orders. Those are in construction, basically. So each one is pretty much unique. I mean, you can choose the color of the leather. You can choose the type of leather. So if you want alligator, crocodile leather, that's all possible. You can choose the color of the anodized elements. So if you see the metal fixtures, some of it is in light blue. You can choose the color. You can have it ADLC. Basically, it's super highly customizable. So I know for you, if you were to order this, I mean, it'd probably be completely different from the one you see.
Don't tease me, because Mrs. Higgins is still watching. So, but if I understand correctly, you already sold one or two, or
we've
something
sold
like
about
that.
2 so far. So we still
How
have
many?
3 available, but I haven't really marketed this at all. So I'm quite impressed that we've even sold any, because it's just been completely silent on the marketing front. I didn't really want to talk about it much. I wanted to focus more on the Celestial Voyager.
Mhm.
I guess being nominated in the GPRG would probably make this clock a bit more renowned.
Yeah. So I'm a little bit interested in the marketing aspect of this. I would imagine that this clock project was more or less unnoticed until it got the attention from the GPHG. Or did you receive any interest before the nomination?
There was some interest. Marc-André Deschaux of Watches TV did a tour of the Alessandro's atelier in Milan. So he talked about this clock in the video. And I think I Am Casa, Andrea Casaleno, who formerly was one of the founders of Italian Watch Spotter, he did a short video as well talking about this. But it was all in Italian on YouTube, so it's got subtitles though. So those were 2 videos, and I think there was a bit organic posts by other people, but we didn't formally market this because I mean there's just 5, so I didn't really see the point in marketing it. I mean, there's no doubt that it will sell out sooner or later, and I wanted to concentrate more on the Celestial Voyager in terms of marketing. But certainly this is not something that I overlook. It's also my baby, and I'm really proud of it, and I love it so much. And
It is.
we have a project coming after this with Alessandro, which is going to be even more impressive. So perhaps I'll reserve the marketing for that one, and it's going to be a wristwatch. So,
Okay.
Fingers crossed.
Wow.
It's going to be a wristwatch. It's going to be a wristwatch version of this, but more elaborate than this. If you can.
Okay, just a public message, Mrs. Higgins. I love you, but I'm looking forward to that project.
Well, I'm sure she can wear it too. So
You're not making my position here any easier, Ben.
do my best.
Yeah. So, but as you talk about the Celestial Voyager, yeah, my first question would be, you brought that into the GPHG, and it was not really nominated. So,
It wasn't. Yeah.
did you get an
Well,
explanation, or is it just rejected and they move on?
they don't give an explanation for why a piece is not nominated. But there were the artistic crafts category was quite crowded this year, and there were lots of very impressive pieces. And
Oh yes.
to be honest, the voting process may not necessarily be based completely on pure merit. So, well, it's fine. I mean, it doesn't change my motivation or my mission at all to create
Oh,
the best
definitely no.
possible watches. It's just really the icing on the cake, really, to have a nomination. But if I don't, it just makes me want to push even harder next year.
I think, to be honest, I don't think that there is anything wrong with the Celestial Voyager.
No, not at all.
The criteria, I would really like to know how that decision process is going.
I'm not sure. You'd have to ask an Academy member. So right now, I think there are about 700 people in the Academy worldwide, and they vote on the entries or the GPRG, and the top 6 in terms of votes are nominated. So I mean, it's not necessarily based on merit as well. If you look at some of the entries and those that were not nominated, there's definitely going to be a lot of controversy. So, for better or for worse, it is what it is. It's not perfect. I mean, nothing is perfect. But I'm very thankful to have one nomination, and that's really quite an honor for someone who is a complete industry outsider like myself, who did not come from the watch industry, who was not trained in anything remotely like the watch industry, apart from being a consumer. And it's an honor after having done this for 10 years, laboring in the shadows for the last 8 years or 9 years before having some level of recognition. It's really wonderful. It shows that
absolutely
someone on the right path. Yes, yeah.
And I can see your name popping up on many places. And if I'm very honest, before I saw the Celestial Voyager the first time, and I immediately fell in love with, I had no idea about you and your endeavor and of your company. And during the last year, it's almost a year journey. I think our first contact was in November. So during that year, you gained a lot of traction, and you got a lot of recognition.
I'm very thankful for all of that, and it's just really the icing on the cake. I mean, it doesn't. I'm just basically doing what I've always been doing, in terms of working hard and trying to do right by my clients and create the best possible work that I can, the best possible watches and clocks that I can, and that all that has not changed in the last 10 years. I guess what has changed is that some of the things that I may not have done right, I'm finally starting to do right. I'm starting to, I guess, refine my marketing, my design, perhaps, and then slowly, I guess, more and more people are starting to pay attention. Thankfully, and to some people, it seems like an overnight success, but this overnight success is 10 years in the making, and for the first 8 years, it was just me laboring in the shadows. So it was definitely not easy, and I lost lots of money. I endured lots of heartache, lots of rejection. So, it's definitely not been an easy ride, but it's been certainly a worthwhile ride. And we're just beginning. I mean, this is nowhere near uh, the peak of where we're gonna go. We are just right at the base of the mountain, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh,
I trekked
absolutely.
through the forest to get to the base of the mountain, and now I'm staring at the peak, and I can't even see the peak. So I think we have really amazing things ahead of us, and I really thank a lot of you guys for being on the same journey as me. And it's truly an honor to have all of you uh, encouraging me and supporting me along the way. It really makes a difference for a one man show. I'm going up against billion-dollar brands with hundreds of years of history and massive budgets in production and R&D and marketing. And for me, it's just I'm just a one man show, with limited self funding and everything,
Mm.
and just kind of feeling my way around and learning on the job, I guess, in a way. But I'm very honored that people like you put your faith and your hard earned money in me. Even though that you've never heard of me, and I'm so honored about that. So flattered as well that you give me this platform to talk about my work. I'm so thankful and honored that esteemed watchmakers like Sven Anderson, like Lin Yonghua, like Alessandro Rigotto, have faith in me, in my
Yeah.
vision, and choose to partner with me as well. To create amazing, amazing things.
And I think
Without
e-
not achieve
e-
what I've done so far. So I'm super thankful.
you mentioned that you've been in the shadows for many years, but I think if you would be starting today, the
Yeah.
doors would be closed to those independent watchmakers because they're riding now such a high wave because
Yes.
the demand has been increased
Yeah.
so much for the independents.
That is true. Yeah, that is true. Well, as with everything, it's a matter of timing as well.
Yes.
Uh, I'm not sure the time I started with them was the perfect time, but well, it's got us here. It's got us to this stage. So it may not have been perfect, but I guess it was. It was pretty good. I don't know if I had started earlier, whether uh, we would have achieved the same outcome. I mean, I'm not sure if I told you, but as early as 2014, I already had the vision to start a high horology brand. But back then, I think I lacked the knowledge, and I just didn't know how to go about it. So I kind of put that on the back burner and
Mhm.
then focused on more uh, modest watch designs, and then building up building up my capital, building up my knowledge base and experience in the industry, um, and then finally trying again 5 years later, and it's been good so far.
Oh, yeah, very well. And we're talking a lot about your high horology pieces, but let's not forget your Celadon line, where you
Yeah,
try to give a platform to those Chinese artisans that are so not known in the West, and
exactly.
those Chinese artisans are not really appreciated because everybody is just thinking of a seagull movement, and there is so much that can be done, and you just help those guys to shine.
Yeah, I mean, Celadon was my first endeavor and my first love, and it's still something that I'm super passionate about. And I think there's a lot of potential for Celadon to really grow, and it's my deep desire to to build it up into a first tier watch brand, and more than just a brand, but its own tradition of watchmaking. So I definitely feel like I'm writing a new chapter of Chinese high horology with Celadon HH, because nothing like it has come before. There were other Chinese attempts at high horology, but they were all quite different from what I'm doing. So I feel this weight of history that I'm creating Chinese high horology history, hopefully. Well, and I guess a bit like Walter Lange when he was creating German high horology. I hope to do the same as well.
Yeah.
Obviously in a Chinese vein.
The only difference to Walter Lange is he had the luxury group with IWC and Gesche de Culture in the back, and you're doing the financing and conception more or less yourself.
Well, totally myself actually.
Yeah.
Production is certainly aided by Lin Yonghua, but the whole everything is basically done by myself. The design, the path that we take and everything, which is certainly not easy at all. Now, of course,
So I have
Chinese watchmaking, Chinese production in general isn't really helped much by its current reputation. So that's a huge obstacle we've got to surmount. But it's a fun challenge.
On your webpage of Celadon High Horology, you mentioned that based on this particular case, the cloisonné dial can be totally customized. So I'm not sure if many people have approached you with questions or with requests of customizing, and did you finalize such customized projects based on this particular watch?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of people have ordered the stock designs because they think they're quite beautiful already. Whether it's the peacock,
spectacular,
starry night.
It is.
We had some bespoke designs as well. I think one client ordered a turtle and coral design, which is quite beautiful. And off the top of my head, I can't remember any others, but there were quite a few. Some were quite personal as well. And then I'm going to launch 2 more designs coming up quite soon. And then I have a couple more designs waiting in the wings. So
actually, we didn't talk about that, but I was hoping for that news that you will do more designs.
Oh no, sure.
That is why I've been asking. So can you tell us what will be the next thing, or is that still under wrap?
I can tell you. I think I've shown you some pictures before previously. So the next 2 designs will be the Temple of Heaven, and there is I haven't settled on the name yet, but it's going to be something like swallows and pear tree flowers. So that's a very classical Chinese design. And then there's going to be a special regulator dial, a burgundy regulator dial. So we've already released this white one. There's going to be a burgundy one that's going to be exclusive to the new CH5 movement, which is the upgraded version of this. So that's going to be exclusively for that movement. And then we have that 2 new cloisonné designs. And then early next year, there are going to be 2 more cloisonné designs. One's going to be cloisonné, one's going to be micro painting, but those are going to be centered on more monochromatic designs, and they're going to be on animals. So quite interesting. So the ones coming up very soon are going to be more colorful, whereas the ones early next year will be more monochromatic, more black and white, more. I guess you could say they're more dressy, because some people might think that cloisonné is a very colorful affair, and they want something more more simple, I guess. So perhaps that might work for them.
So actually, we haven't spoken about the new designs. I haven't seen anything. So as you know, any pictures of spectacular dials or projects are always welcome. And if you allow me, I'm always happy to share it on this platform here to interest people.
Temple of Heaven dial, because
No.
that was. Oh, I haven't. Okay,
No.
I'll try to dig some pictures up and send them to you, because that was done quite a while back, and then the other two are right now in progress.
Yeah, I just wanted to remind the viewers those Celadon high horology watches are done with a high-end movement, and the cloisonné dial, in my opinion, is worth the money alone. I think there is an updated pricing now. Are they now 16,000 US, or how much are the cloisonnés?
US.
How much?
14,900.
14,900.
$1,000 US.
So yeah, 15,000, and you get a handmade cloisonné dial from a very famous Chinese artisans. I think his family was working for the emperor in Beijing, wasn't it?
Yeah. So you get the absolute top in terms of dial and movement.
Yes.
HCI watchmaker created and designed movement. With a top enamel dial from the very best Chinese enamel artisan alive. His family are the third generation enamelers to the emperors of China historically. So they used to create the enamel pieces for the emperors of China. So he's the absolute best.
Yeah, and I just had to order this watch. I couldn't resist. And that brought me a lot of trouble with Mrs. Higgins, but
an excellent deal. I mean, there's really nothing that you can find in that price range, or to be honest, any price range, where you can order a bespoke cloisonné dial. I mean, as far as I know, from the big brands at least. There probably are some small little brands that do bespoke cloisonné, but then they'll pair it with very simple movement like an ETA or Unitas, perhaps. They're not going to have a AHCI movement, which itself can be customized as well.
I do have an example here. It was in Watches and Wonders, and this was a smaller brand called Lundi Bleu, and he does.
I know this brand,
his only purpose is the enamel dials. As you said, everything else is
substandard,
very basic. Yeah, the case is basic, the movement is basic, but at least you know that he puts all his attention on the enamel dial, and he does some spectacular.
There is a market for that as well. So
obviously.
So not to diminish that in any way. To be honest, I'm not a fan of this dial design, but he does have other dials that are very beautiful. I think not the cloisonné ones I've seen. The other material dials he's done are really quite beautiful, and honestly, it's a great deal. I think it's like $1,000 or $2,000 US. So
very affordable.
Yeah. And I think they started using the Miyota movements when they first started. And then now they're using Swiss movements, perhaps. Can't really remember.
Yes.
Yeah. So now that you told us about the Celadon high horology watches, of course, I have to ask if you have any further development of the Celestial Voyager, which is my baby and my passion.
So there are always developments on literally everything. I have so many right now, you wouldn't believe it. There is going to be a new version of the Celestial Voyager launching quite soon. Rose gold version. With new dials. The dials are going to be quite impressive because they're going to be cloisonné and guilloché, engine turn guilloché. So I don't think anyone else has done that. And certainly not beautiful world timer. So again, first only, and hopefully best as well.
So a world timer with a guilloche cloisonné enamel dial.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Ben, next time I'm meeting Alex, he may have very dark rings under his eyes.
Higgins, well, you have to bring her along. Maybe she'll be charmed by one of the pieces. Yeah, I mean, Alex wanted to position it as a ladies' piece, but I thought, why? I think as a man, we would love to wear such a watch as well. So it's definitely not really a ladies' watch. Just the fact that it's rose gold. It's gonna have a mother of pearl city ring as well.
Oh,
Oh.
wonderful!
Beautiful. Yeah, because it harmonized really beautifully with the rose gold case and the cloisonné dials. You wouldn't believe it. They're gonna be the Aurora Borealis as well, the Northern Lights design for both dials. They're gonna be different, so that should be quite impressive.
When will that be announced or presented?
Very soon, in the next couple months.
Okay.
So probably by November latest, if not earlier.
Yeah. Now that you mentioned it, ladies' watch versus men's watch, one of my concerns was with the Celestial Voyager. It is 37.7 as far as I remember. And I was a little bit worried that it would be too small. But when I tried it on at the AD in Berlin, when Alex was there, it was absolutely perfect for my wrist. And that is Swiss wrist, as far as I know.
Yeah, that was during Watches and Wonders.
Yeah.
He was able to.
So
the size is perfect. It's absolutely
the size is really perfect.
Yeah, I mean the thickness as well, or rather the thinness, is just astounding too. Because don't forget, it's a world timer complication. It's got enamel and aventurine. As you know, a stone dial adds a lot of thickness.
And a mother of pearl ring.
Exactly. Yeah. So mother of pearl on the back and aventurine on the front with the cloisonné. I mean, that's just crazy. And it's a dome sapphire as well. It's automatic. And so the thinness we were able to achieve is quite a accomplishment. So I was very happy with it.
Yeah.
That we were able to get it so svelte.
So in the last couple of months, I seem to have noticed a trend that those ultra big watches are a little bit a thing of the past, and that people are going back to normal sizes of watches.
Yeah.
Just look at the recently shown Pelagos, which is now 39. We had many other watches that were basically put down in size. Do you agree with this trend, or am I just making things up?
As in, do I personally like this trend, or do I agree that
what is your observation? Do you think that the watches will still get bigger, or are you also seeing a trend towards smaller watches?
Well, I think it's somewhat country specific in a way, and perhaps it applies more for the connoisseur market, because I know at least in China there's still a huge appreciation for oversized watches, which personally I don't like. I mean, I hate unnecessary girth and fillers and stuff. I mean, I think a watch should be sized for the movement, and if the movement is too small, then make the movement a bit bigger. And it should not be unnecessarily thick either. So I'm definitely for this trend, but I think in certain countries there's still a desire for large watches. I mean, Panerai is still going strong. Thankfully, Richard Mille, has a thin watch now. Although
very thin watch.
Personally, not a fan of the styling, but it's a good direction. Frongmuller is still a bit oversized, I guess.
Yeah.
And you know, you're gonna have all the usual suspects with the gigantic cases. What do you have? U-boat, perhaps.
Hublot
But they-
AP.
yeah, I think a watch, if it's huge and has a good reason to be huge, can still be good. And you know, I'm speaking as one that is currently designing a pretty large watch, which I kind of alluded to earlier. So, but it has good reason to be quite imposing on the wrist. And I think as long as there's a good reason, you know, for it to be large, where it's not just empty case, then that's perfectly fine.
So Ben,
It's also-
are you working? Are you
Sorry.
working on a specific ladies' watch?
Right now, no, not. I try not to create specifically ladies' watches because I don't really see a benefit in it. I mean, a lot of ladies wear my watches, you know, over the past 10 years. I never set out to create a men's or ladies' watch. So, I mean, generally they sell more towards men, but a not insignificant number of ladies still also order my watches. You know, even from the very beginning with the Celadon Imperial, and even the Celestial Voyager, we do have lady owners. So I guess there is this common appreciation of beauty and craftsmanship and artisanry, I guess, quality. So that's great. You know. I mean, I think to set out to create a expressly ladies watch is unnecessarily limiting. So I wouldn't really want to do that. Maybe when I get bigger, somewhat, you know, that might be something to consider.
My question was not because I want to stereotype watches or something like that, but in my opinion, this is a niche that has a lot of potential. And in an earlier show, I was ranting about a watchmaker who was creating a stereotype ladies' watch, then a smaller watch with a lot of pink. And I think that is too easy and just too blatant. I agree that many ladies are wearing those watches, particularly because your watches are really not oversized, just like you say. You're reducing them to the absolute necessary point. But still, I believe that if somebody puts a lot of passion and energy into a watch which is more focused to women, that maybe that could be quite a success.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, and it's certainly something that I would probably want to do in future. But if I design a ladies' watch, it would be designed from the ground up to be a ladies' watch. So it wouldn't be just me taking an existing design, splashing on some diamonds, making it pink.
Yeah.
Like you said, that would be a bit too obvious.
Yeah.
The entire thing from the case shape to the movement finish, even you know, everything would be tailored specifically to a lady's taste. And you know, I think it's a worthwhile challenge. If you look at the ladies complication category or the ladies category, there are lots of really nice designs there, which I think you know are really worth definitely worth being in the JPRJ. I mean, even Anderson's one, as you can see, is quite beautiful with the aquamarine stones on the bezel.
Yes.
Yeah, very, very beautiful color combination as well. But no disrespect to you, Sven Anderson, and everybody. I nominated a ladies' watch, the watch of the year 2021, and I totally fell in love with it. And I wanted your comment about that, Van Cleef and Arpels. Do you know this watch?
Oh no, I don't know this watch, but I think it's beautiful.
Oh,
I mean,
you have to see the video.
You have to see the video. You have to see the video. I can't get enough of this watch.
that's amazing. The layering and the level of artistry.
No, wait.
Wow. Yeah, I think I saw this movement before on a different watch.
So this watch is displaying the time with flowers, and
Yeah.
that is a minute display. And at the end of each hour, all flower blooms close,
Right.
and on the new hour, then a certain a number of flowers open back, and that then shows the number of the hours.
Yeah, it's really ingenious because even the movement design is sort of a lady's design, you know.
Yes.
Yes.
So this is kind of what I mean by designing from the ground up to be a lady's watch specifically.
Yeah.
I think I saw a video on this during Watches and Wonders this year. So this is a good example of a truly ladies' watch.
Yeah.
And it need not even be in pink; it could be in turquoise or
Exactly. Yes. I think they also offer it in a different color combination, and it's too pink in my opinion to stereotype. But I will overlook the stereotype color just because of that ingenious mechanism, how those flowers open and close, and the sheer idea is just
it's not a controversy that a lot of ladies like pink. So sometimes stereotypes have some basis. I think JLC had some beautiful designs this year. More time-only versions. I really love some of their. I can't remember the name. Was it the?
Oh, they had the shooting star. Let me find it. A dazzling star. It was shown.
Now that you mentioned JLC, Swiss woke up and now he's energized.
JLC is one of my favorite brands. I mean, I love both the modern and the vintage.
Oh, we discovered you being a Patek, a Vacheron aficionado last time. Now you're coming out being a JLC fan.
The budget for being too much aficionado, but no, I definitely love Vacheron. Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, Swiss is calling it the shooting star.
Yeah,
that's the name of the collection. I would totally wear most of these watches, to be honest. I mean, with less diamonds. I think this.
Yeah, I wanted.
Yeah, it would be beautiful for a man, you know. I love this collection personally, the Rendezvous.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is such a poetic complication. So how it works, it's randomly every 20 minutes or so, this shooting star will appear for a few seconds.
Oh.
And it's like, when you see a shooting star in the sky, it's
Even,
useless, but it's such a poetic complication. I just love it.
Yeah. I mean, Van Cleef as well with the Pont des Amoureux.
Oh, yes.
You know,
where the guy is always walking the bridge and she never comes. So, and then he comes back the next hour.
Yes, this one.
And then at 12 they kiss and leave. Yes.
And Mez also has lots of really nice feminine timepieces.
Yes, and my favorite of last year, you remember, John? It was the Beauvais.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yes, that was my second.
It was this one. So it isn't a mechanical complication, but
Do
it
you
is
know this watch,
a
Ben?
That's beautiful. Even
it
the
is a
hat-
watch made by Beauvais, and what they actually did is they use beads of sugar to make the dial. So the dial is made of sugar, and it is called the Sweetheart.
Hmm.
How cool is that? I love it. It's so good.
So ideas for Mrs. H, perhaps.
Yes.
I'm seeing trouble ahead. But Mrs. Higgins knows this particular watch because we've been discussing it, and I think it's a very neat idea. I just can't get over this this lug at 12. I
But
know
look,
that.
then you can
I know.
convert it
I
into
know
a
it has a
pendant.
functional
Look at that.
purpose and everything,
Look at
but
this.
yes, but
How
it's
cool
still
is that? This is
yeah,
so
but
cool.
it still looks odd when you wear it on the wrist. That is my problem with it.
I think for women it's okay, but for men that's just too feminine. You know,
Yes.
the Lange design. But on the lady's wrist it would be quite pretty.
Oh yeah, especially on Audrey's wrist.
Yes, you know Audrey Raffi, the daughter of
Yeah, the
the
daughter of the Beauvais
yes,
founders.
mhm.
Yeah.
And he created that watch as an homage to his daughter Audrey.
Right, right.
So
I can
the
buy
watch
some
is called
right now.
the Audrey Sweetheart. That is Miss Audrey
There we go.
Sweetheart, I think is
Yes.
the name. Yeah. Okay. So I think we had a very exciting show. Thank you very much again for showing up, Ben. I hope that it wasn't too exhausting or boring for you.
Not at all. Not. It's always
You're
it's always a
always so full of knowledge and ideas and informations that I appreciate so much.
thank you very much.
Absolutely. So we have been going for now 1 hour and 47 minutes. I think we all would love
just
some rest
flew by.
right now.
Yeah, it just
So I
flew by.
think yes.
What is the time in Singapore already?
It's 5:33 a.m. right now
Oh
in the
my
morning.
Are you going
So-
back to bed now, or is your day
I'm
starting?
probably gonna go back to bed. But it was fun. It was a really fun conversation.
Oh yes. Thank you so much to making
Thank
the
you for having
effort.
me. And always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
Absolutely. So thank you everyone. Thank you to the viewers who stayed up until the end.
Yes, thank you for the viewers who will watch this later on.
Yep. And I
Yeah,
guess
Benjamin, again, thank you so much for appearing on our little show.
Thank you.
You're
It's an
bringing
honor.
such a value.
Always a pleasure. And thank you all to the viewers as well.
absolutely. So until next time, everyone, have a good one. Bye bye.
Bye bye.